What's going on, guys? I'm your host Sam Paddy Projects, back with you on another video on Project TIR. So in the last video you would have seen that we was pulling apart the K20. We're going to try and do a little bit more of that this video, but we are unboxing the K24 and we are going to see what we need to do to be able to fit it right in here. So it's going to consist of a lot of more technical stuff. Might just breeze through this video, understand what we're doing, order what we need to do to get it done. So let's jump straight in, no delay, let's get it.
So first things first, let's just check the last thing on this K20 that I want to see. And I can assure you it's not looking good.
If you get that feeling, that tingling feeling when you're at the track of don't do one more and you end up doing one more lap, this could be the casualty. That's definitely worse than number one. Cylinder number one's here. Cylinder number 4's there. All the oil following and is now gone down to cylinder 4, and it starves cylinder 1 and cylinder 2. But also in this engine, below cylinder 1 and 2 is the balance shaft system for the oil pump. So that's starved of oil, causing your rods to starve of oil, causing Rodney to come knocking. Okay, so to prevent anything like this in future from happening, if you are going to be taking the car to the track, doing any fast road B bashing, you want to just tune up your car in general, fit a backwards on. Highly recommend it.
Let's get to the main event. And this engine is not looking as good as I wanted.
Alright, so just to unbox the engine, on first inspection, obviously whatever Japanese car this was pulled out of, obviously they've just like cut everything and just basically just got the engine out in the least resistance possible. So we can see obviously some damage to the cover there. There's loads of stuff on this that is going to have to be replaced. So what we're going to do at the moment is, just while it's sitting here, we're just going to have a look at this manifold. I don't think the K24 manifold is going to be the same as the K20 manifold, but we're going to have a look. We're going to compare them and see what happens.
K24 manifold, K20 manifold. As you can see, side-by-side comparison. Diameter of the pipes definitely look near on identical. Downside differences, as I said, not sure what engine this has come out of. Well, exhaust direction of flow. This is very 90 degree, this is more straight. We need this or as close to this as possible. So now here's the truth. Let's see if it lines up. Like a glove. Every bolt is in the exact same position as where we need it to be. And the good bit is, we just found, even the standard support beams even line up. We just have to do a little bit of jiggery pokery. Not too much of a backstreet job, but we can definitely make this work. That's one step closer to the 24, mate.
So now it's time to remove the rocker cover. So we've got to get rid of this last bit of wiring harness, which was chopped off when the engine was being pulled, remove the ignition coils and all of the bolts that are holding the rocker cover on. And once the rocker cover comes off, I'll let you be the judge of this.
That looks ugly, man.
Ooh. He did not have a lot of servicing done.
So this doesn't look as good as I wanted it to look. I'm just going to give you some reference here because we've just taken that rocker cover off, and this engine was on 160,000 miles, and obviously I kept up with the servicing. I've done a lot of services on this engine in between, but if we come round to the K24, I mean, look at that. That don't look good at all, to be fair. Like, for what it is, it might run and drive fine, we don't know.
This is going to benefit from maybe 2 oil flushes.
Yeah, I think that's an absolute minimum.
Is a clump of oil. But again, we don't know how long this has been sat. We don't know the history of this. So this is essentially a sight unseen engine. That's not healthy. We do need to give this a good clean up, so we might have to go get quite a few cans of brake cleaner. You were worried about the scores on these cams. I can safely run my fingernail over them and there's no grooves, there's no cuts. So I'm not too stressed about that. But again, as we were saying before, we could always swap those cams into this to help with the rev matching, make it a bit more revy, a bit more snappier. But we need to just confirm that those ones are worthy of putting into this, because that's not a K20A, that's a K20Z. You know more, but we've got options. We have got options.
So to continue the inspection on this engine, we decided to take out all of the spark plugs, and all of the spark plugs look very similar to what you're seeing now. A little bit burnt, but not the end of the world. And it's a good thing the engine's turning freely. That's always a plus. So now we're going to be taking off the old engine mount and replacing it with a Honda CR-V mount, as I've read on the forums that to make it compatible with other engine mounts in the EP, the EG Civics, you've got to swap over to a CR-V mount, and I'm going to see if it works for an FN2. But that wasn't without its problems.
Alright, so new developments. So we've put the CR-V mount on, as you would have seen. And what we've noticed, could have actually worked this out if we'd done a bit more research, but it is what it is. The CR-V mount that we've got to be compatible with the engine mounts is blocked by the power steering. So the FN2's have got electronic power steering, so this power steering pump is not necessary. And of course this is preventing us from going any further with this, because obviously where you see there, if I just put the light down there, it's not lining up. So the plan is now getting rid of the power steering pump, and we can basically get a kit that basically deletes this. So that'll just basically be just a random pulley there with a new idler and a new belt to go around, which has got adjustable tension on it. So that'll delete this, give us the clearance to be able to mount it to the car. But I mean, we're a little bit stuck at the moment, but we knew we was going to encounter these problems, and I don't think anyone's documented it in this depth on video. So this is good for anybody that does want to swap K24 in. By the end of this series, you're going to know how to do it. So we're just going to do a few more things now. I'm going to test up the flywheel, because this didn't come with a flywheel. See if the Z04 flywheel goes onto this nicely. Do a couple more things and basically mess about, take it off and see what the next couple of minutes brings.
So it's time to take this plate off of the K24. Now, I think it came out of an automatic car previously. I'm not really sure what that plate's for, but we've got the Z04 flywheel and we put 2 bolts in it just to make sure it fits in. And to give us some clearance, we're just going to be removing half of the intake for now, just to be able to see what's behind it, because we noticed one of the coolant pipes that runs from the thermostat has actually got some damage that we believe is from transit. So we have to see if we can swap it with the KZ04.
So I think it's more of a transport situation, but that pipe's been bent up original. But we also need to make this work on our setup, and the way that piping's routed, that's not going to work. So I'm going to swap out the thermostats, because that's what these are here. I still think you should get a coolant hose replacement kit, so full silicone hoses as well. That'll help with breathing and everything else later.
So with the new one installed and fitting beautifully with a little bit of a manipulation, it was time to actually swap over to the K24 thermostat. And with that bolted in nicely, we can start removing the rest of the intake, because I'm very interested to see if the KZ04 intake will actually fit the K24. And while we had it open, I had a brand new starter motor knocking about, so I thought, why not? And on the first try of getting this intake in, we realised it is hitting that power steering pump. And we need to delete it anyway, so it was just a couple of bolts holding it in after we had a lot of access and after we removed the belt, and we can whip that straight out. And Jordan wasn't best pleased with it. And with that out of the way, the intake did actually fit very well. So now it's time to test half of the mount that's going to be going onto the car. So I'm just bolting it into the new CR-V mount that we bolted to the engine. And now let's get the gearbox on. So we decided to take the flywheel back off because we were not putting it on for good, and not install the clutch or anything, and just offer that gearbox up just to see if it fits perfectly. And it doesn't actually fit perfectly, but for the purpose of fitting it to the car, let's see how it does fit. So when we were lowering it into the car, things really started to look promising. And both sides did in fact line up.
So, as you can see with your very own eyeballs, the K24 is actually in the TIR. Now, we've just got 2 mounts on it at the moment, but it looks like the CRV mount did in fact put it in the place that we needed it to put. Obviously, we need the new idler on it that does the power steering delete off of the K24 engine, but it's actually in, and as you can see here, we haven't got many parts on it at the moment. There's plenty more to do. This is just the first thing to tick off the list to say, okay, it fits. So I'm gonna end the video here. It's your boy Sam Paddy Projects. Big shout out to GoFlex Automotive and the man Godfrey himself. Head on over to his channel. It'll be in the description if you want to see all the behind the scenes. Head on over, have a look, and make sure you hit that subscribe button on his channel. It's your boy Sam Paddy Projects, and I will catch you on the next video.